for joining me in your practice today. We will begin in child's pose. So you can take the knees out wide, the big toes to touch, and you'll just begin to fold in, belly towards the thighs, hands towards the top of the mat. You can rest the third eye on the floor, the forehead, soften the elbows, and just a little wiggle of the hips side to side. As you begin to arrive, and begin to connect with the breath, connect with subtle sensations within the body. Just taking some time to observe. Now press through the palms of the hands and begin to round up. And adjusting the knees just underneath the hips, the hands underneath the shoulders. We'll move into a couple cat-cows. So first we have cow, lifting the chest, drawing the shoulders back and tucking the tail. And exhale, we push down and round through the upper back, draw the chin in towards the chest. Inhaling, opening, arcing, and exhaling, rounding, pressing down, drawing everything up and in. Couple more, inhale, and exhale. In, and out. Inhale, cow, out back, so arcing through the spine. You tuck the toes, press back towards the heels. And then again, you'll just begin to move those hips side to side. See where you can tuck all 5 toes under, so you can open through the arcs of the feet. And then firmly press down through the fingers. Spread them wide, press through the fingertips, the knuckles. And we'll begin to lift the knees, the buttocks up high. Downward facing dog. Take some time to lengthen through the spine, maybe keeping the knees bent, and then some time to straighten the legs, bending one knee and straightening the other. Relax the head, the jaw, a very soft bend in the elbows to create a little more space for the neck. Maybe you pause as you press down through one heel, maybe you lift the toes, and then to the other. And then come into stillness in your downward facing dog, so just set yourself up, draw the thighs up and back, and very gentle external rotation of the shoulders. Just again connect with the breath. You can begin to invite in Ujjayi breath. Just by blocking the back of the throat, we can cultivate the sound of the ocean. This breath invites us to remain present. Invites us to intentionally bring more life into the body, more peace into the body. And then on your next inhalation, you allow this right leg to sweep up, 3-legged dog. And exhale, you'll draw the knee in, round through the upper back, and then lightly plant that foot between the hands. Drop the left knee down towards the earth. Good, sweep the hands up, inhale. And we'll sweep them back and down as you exhale. Bring the hands to the hips. We'll align that left hip with that left knee. And we'll work on drawing that right heel towards the left knee and left knee towards the right heel. So creating some traction to the middle of the mat. We begin to note this hip flexor opening. And begin to note some heat building in that right thigh and calf muscle. Keep drawing in. You also note as you're active here, the core is engaged. 2 more breaths. And then on your inhalation, you'll sweep the hands up. Again, on your exhale, back and down. Bring the hands down towards the earth. Shift the hips back. Plug down through the toes. We'll lengthen that front leg. So just as you need. If you have some blocks, this is always nice to rest the hands on the blocks if they don't quite reach the floor. So here we're plugging in to the mat with the toes, pressing down, opening up the front line of the leg. You'll feel this in the ankle, the top of the foot, and the shin. And on the exhalation, you can begin to fold in a little bit deeper, creating more space within that stretch. And then you can begin to lift up, lift the toes up, and then draw that right hip back. So now switching the stretch from the front line of the leg to the back of the leg. And meeting yourself at that edge. So if you'd like, you can come a little bit deeper, folding in. Making sure the hips are centered, not too far off to the left. And draw them back a little to the right. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale as you release. Step into that right foot. Bring that left hand onto the mat in line with that right foot. And then open up that right arm. Twisting from your center as we open through right side body. Gazing up towards the thumb, spread the fingers. If you would like a little bit more, you can begin to bring that hand behind the head. You can think about lifting the chest, drawing the shoulders back towards the heel. Breathe in, and breathe out. 2 more here. And for exhale, you release. Bring the hand down. Frame the foot. Right foot steps back to plank. Inhale. On your exhale, either drop the knees or bring the body all the way to the floor, keeping core engaged. Untuck the toes, press through the hips. Inhale, lift the shoulders, chest. Exhale, lower down. And take 2 more like that. Inhale, lift up. Chest, lift, shoulders, draw back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Press down through those knees. Exhale, draw back, child's pose. And you can wiggle over to side to side. Take a moment to catch your breath. Return to Ujjayi. And the next inhalation, you'll begin to round up, aligning knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes, press buttocks back into those heels, a little opening of the arcs of the feet once again. Set up the foundation for your downward dog with the hands. So pressing through index finger and thumb. And then we'll begin to lift the knees, the buttocks up high, lengthening through the spine. And then lengthening through the backs of the legs. So the heels don't need to touch the ground. We want to avoid any rounding through the lower back. So a soft bend in the knees is welcome. And we'll breathe. And then we'll draw that left leg up high. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, draw knee in, round through the upper back as you shift that weight forward. And then step that foot forward. And so we drop that right knee down. And then we'll sweep the hands up, inhale. Exhale, bring the hands back and down to the hips. And so align that right hip with the knee. We're drawing that right hip flexor forward, and we're drawing that left heel back. So again, we're creating some traction between the knee and the foot. You'll definitely feel this through the right hip flexor, and then begin to start to feel that heat build in the left thigh, left calf muscle. You'll notice I have this back foot tucked under. I have sensitive knees, so I invite you to tuck the toes wherever you need if you also have, and if not, you can just release it. And then you'll bring those arms back up, inhale. And then exhale, back and down. Bring the hands down to the floor. You can begin to shift the hip back, straightening this left leg. So adjust as you need. Again, option to use some blocks or some support beside you. We're plugging down through the big toes. So really bringing our focus to stretching the front line of the leg. You may feel this in the hamstring as well as the inside of the leg. But primarily we should feel this in the ankle, the shin, and the muscle around the shin, the calf, and the metatarsals. Use the exhalation to dive in a little deeper. And then we will begin to rise on an inhale. Good. And then lift those toes up. So again, you can adjust if you like. So we're shifting from front line to back line. Now you're definitely going to feel this in the hamstrings. So I invite you to fold in if you can. So rather than drawing the hips over to the right, draw them back to center, or over to the left. And allow the chest to come a little closer to the thigh. And the breath to remain fluid and long and deep. And one more breath. And begin to lift up on the inhale. Stepping into that left foot, right hand to align underneath the shoulder in line with that left leg. Left arm reaches up. Good. So twisting from our center, keeping that knee to the midline. Gazing up to the thumb as you spread those fingers wide. If you'd like a little bit more, again, the option to bring the hand behind the head. And here, if you'd like, you can begin to open the chest so the shoulders draw back to the heel. 2 more breaths. The exhalation, you release. Bring that hand down to frame the foot, step back, left foot back to plank pose. Inhale. On our exhale, we either drop the knees or lower the chest all the way to the floor with control. Inhale, cobra pose, lifting the heart, shoulders back. Exhale, lower down. 2 more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, press back, child's pose. We'll begin to round up as we inhale. Rounding through upper back. Shoulders come over top of the wrists. Let's tuck those toes. Draw buttocks way back towards the heels. Hands to follow. And then we're going to open up. So lifting the knees. You can take 2 steps out. If the heels don't touch the floor, that's okay. You can roll the back of the mat and place it underneath the heels. I find that simply by taking a wider stance that most of us can eventually bring those heels to the floor. Good. Now from here, if you feel safe to leave the hands from the earth, you can bring them together. Use the elbows to draw the knees out wide. Think about finding length through the spine. And then we can just soften that gaze or close the eyes. And then you'll slowly release that left hand down. Out in front, on the inside of that left foot, the right hand will travel up. And again, if you'd like a little bit more here, you can bring that hand behind the head and then work on drawing that elbow back. Gaze to that elbow, making sure that weight is even between the feet so we're not lifting off to that left side. And then we'll release. Right hand will come down, left hand travels up, either to stay there or if you'd like that little bit more, hands behind the head. Lift through the chest, elbow back, and then center that weight between the feet. Breathe. And then on your exhale, you can bring that hand down. So bring both hands to the floor on the fingertips or the palms of the hands if that's available. Begin to walk the feet into a hip width position. Good, bend the knees deeply, allow the belly to sit towards the thighs, and then you can take those hands to the elbows, ragdoll. So allow the biceps to sit in beside the ears. And here with the knees bent, I want you to think about bringing weight into the tops of the feet without lifting the heel, so the elbows become closer to the earth. And if you would like, by plugging down through the toes, we'll begin to shift side to side. Without moving the feet, just moving those hips. And then as you come back through center, I invite you to see where you can find length through the legs. Keeping the buttocks lifted, avoiding any round to the lower back. So if you note or feel the back rounding, you will, hello Leon, you will bend those knees. And then you can release the elbows, hands to the floor. Take an inhale, lift up halfway. Bring the hands to the shins, draw the shoulders back. Good. And then exhale, bring those hands back down. Walk them out, downward facing dog. Let's take that right leg high, inhale. Exhale, draw that knee in as you round, draw that weight forward. Step right foot forward, top of the mat. Good. Without dropping the left knee, we just draw the hip down. We draw that chest back, shoulders back, and then we'll sweep those hands up. Inhale. Exhale, bring those hands back and around, hands to hips. Good, so from here, we're drawing left hip forward, slight bend in that back knee, but very active. Right heel back. So again, we're creating some traction to the middle of the mat. Soften the shoulders, and continue to work that hip forward. 3, 2, maybe sit a little lower, and 1. We'll reach those arms up on an inhale. Exhale, circle them back and down. Bring them to the floor, frame that foot. Left foot steps in just a little, about 3 to 4 foot. Toes turn to the corner of the top edge of the mat. Take an inhale, lift and lengthen through this one. Again, another option to use the blocks. And then exhale, fold over top of that right leg. If you like, you can bring those hands back and draw the shoulders away from the ears. The exhalation is an opportunity for you to move deeper into the physical pose, into the breath. into the space within. Next inhalation, you lift that chest. Walk that left foot back to our low lunge. Left hand to the inside, right hand reaches up. Revolve side with that knee lifted. Extend through that left heel, the thigh up towards the sky. Left glute is engaged. And then you open, twisting a little bit more. Again, you can bring that hand behind the head if you like. And then maybe you turn onto the fingers to lift the heart, shoulder back to heel. On the exhale, we'll bring that right hand down. Right foot back, plank pose. Exhale, flow. Lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg goes high. Exhale, draw knee in, round, shift weight forward, and then step forward. Between the hands, drop right hip down, draw chest through, shoulders back. Good. And then on the inhale, we'll sweep the hands up, reaching, exhale, back and down, hands to hips. So again, we're scooping that right hip forward and bending that back knee. And that left heel draws back. Maybe you lower the hips a little. Keep knees stacking over top of ankle. And then on an inhale, reach the arms up. The exhale back and around. Come down. Straighten that front leg. Right foot steps in 3 to 4 foot. Back toe points to the diagonal of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fall over top of that left leg. Again, just notice where the hips are at. Tendency is for us to shift off to the right. Let's draw it back a little. Find them at center. And then walk those hands back if you can. Cultivate a little more depth. And on your inhalation, you begin to rise back up. You take that right foot back and drop that right hip. Right hand sits up in line with the left leg underneath that shoulder. Left arm reaches up. Revolve side angle. Keep this knee drawing to the midline. Gaze up to that thumb, and again, if you'd like a little bit more, hand behind the head. Draw that elbow open. Maybe tent onto the fingers. Draw that chest open. And then on your exhale, you'll allow that left hand to come down, frame the foot. Left foot comes back, plank pose. Good. Separate the feet to about hip width apart, and then we'll roll over to the right side. Right hand stacks underneath that shoulder, left hand reaches up. So the feet are stacking or staggered, so you choose. Reaching through left side body, gazing up to that thumb, breathing in. And as you breathe out, sweep it down, over to the other side. Stack the feet or stagger. Wrist underneath shoulder, gaze up to thumb. Breathing long and steady. And then exhale, sweep that hand down. Back through center, drop the knees. Shift the weight back onto the heels. Soften the palms down. Long spine. This is where we will finish our practice today. I invite you to stay seated for some time, or if you would like, you can
Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. Namaste.